lights. Fire! Episode 106. And it's still hot as shit outside. I'm sick of 90-something. Texas was like 95. Whew. What are we drinking? Let's start out with that. Neato Bandito. Ha-ha, look at that can. That is from Dallas, Texas. Where was I this weekend? Dallas and Austin. Mm-hmm. Both shows. Super fun. But most importantly, and I'm going to get to some of the nice things that were left backstage, I got to go to Bucky's. I put a video up on Instagram and on Twitter. It's already had 30,000 views. I think there's a lot of people that haven't had the pleasure of going to, and on a Saturday, somebody put, it's a shit show trying to park. And it is to try to get a gas pump. But once you get it, you're golden. And it's worth it. Trust me. I would normally say, I'm out of here. It was so crowded. But they move it so fast. Yeah. Everything goes fast. No complaining. Your sandwich. And then the promoter of the show, he drove too. He stopped and got, Eric got himself a burrito and lunch. He got brisket too. I've never thought, why don't I get the breakfast thing and then get lunch for later too? But why? Why do you need that when you're going to Rancho? I love it. If you ever go to Austin, it's just a little bit outside of downtown. It's called Rancho. And, I think I have their glass, yeah. And I actually paid for this. And I stood in a line for it. I didn't steal it. But they have a margarita there. It's just a margarita, but they put it, you get a shaker full, and then they put a little olive thing in your tiny margarita. It's a martini glass with salt. Yeah. And normally I say no to salt, but there's something really good about the salt. And outside, and I always end up sitting. I went with Kelly McFarland, my friend, who is also opening the show for me. And there's always angry children out on that patio. But they're so angry. Can you turn it up a little bit? They're so angry that they're like entertainingly angry. Like I wouldn't even know what to, they're not necessarily crying. They're just like, and then they stop, and then it'll go again. But you always go there. And then in Dallas, I went to Fenix, which is downtown, super old school. Because, the Ozarks in Nashville are not big on Mexican food. So when I'm in Texas, watch out. And then, like, Mexican guys helped with stuff around the house in Nashville. And then I was like, well, where do you guys eat good Mexican food? And he goes, at home. I'm like, oh, well, yeah, I get that. I mean, does your wife have a lunch special? Can I come over? What time's lunch happening? Baby cat. Sorry, the cat's up here. It's never been up here. It's about ready to knock over all kinds of shit. But that's all right. I'm proceeding on. It's proceeding on, termites.
It's not a feral cat.
It's not a feral cat. Not at all anymore. I don't even think it could survive more than 5 days without me. What am I eating? This was left backstage by Susan. I got so much stuff backstage. It was overwhelming. And even Eric, the promoter, was like, do your people always bring beer and chips? I'm like, yes, that's what they bring. And then the one guy came back, he goes, somebody says they have barbecue. Are they allowed? Yes. And then there was somebody else backstage, this guy, and he goes, do you ever think like people might put fucked up shit in your food? I'm like, no, but now I will. No, I never thought that in a million years. But Uts were left. These are the potato things I was talking about, the skinny things. Now, in the Midwest, it couldn't have been Uts, though, because this is an East Coast thing. So, but these are exactly what I'm thinking of. Little tiny. They're like, you hear that cat?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Where is it?
She's over there. Meow. She's so loud. Meow. Stop complaining. We're doing a show. These are wonderful. Wow. I don't know if I should even keep these in the house. And then
I want some.
You can taste them. Whataburger has their own ranch.
Oh my God.
This was up back. I've never had it. I don't know why I would need ranch at Whataburger. Fries? Well, for the children.
Yeah.
It's for the children.
Yeah.
No. I don't love it.
No?
I love Whataburger, but
It's buttermilk ranch.
it's too tiny.
Stop.
Stick with ketchup.
Oh.
Oh, the fries. Yeah. Maybe they have salads. I don't know. I've never looked. All I've ever gotten is a cheeseburger. And look at my Bucky bobblehead. Right there. If you can't see it, I got the bobblehead. Bucky was not there. Sad times. No, it's a Saturday. I don't know how many Buckies they have, but a lot of people were sending me their pictures with Bucky at the gas station. It's not a gas station. It's a lifestyle. And it's all adults. That's what cracks me up. The kids could care less. They're like, oh, look, it's a giant rat or beaver or what. I mean, I know it's a beaver. They may not know what it is. No, it's the adults that get super excited. I told you, when I met him, I went back because I didn't like my first picture. Yeah. I'm like, oh, no. I'm going to get that little beaver over here, and you're going to do it again, Bucky. He's going to hate my guts by the time I leave here, but God damn it, I don't know when I'll see him again.
Oh, my God.
So many great things. Susan left, I think these. I had a Nessie, like chili ladle. That's the word. Yeah. So I got all that stuff.
Otherwise known as a
Chili scooper. Sean, I got your note. Very nice. Sean found me. He liked the Mormon temple joke. It's somewhere on YouTube, I guess. I don't even know what's on YouTube. I should go find out at some point.
Probably.
Well, there's too many other things I'm supposed to keep track of. Right now, I'm still trying to get back on Sirius Radio. I'm working very, very diligently for those of you who care. And then Reba left some stuff backstage in Dallas. And Little Temptations, which are treats for who? Baby cat. And that's the kind I already buy. But these are tiny. She's probably, yeah, she's yelling for that. She doesn't like me being up here. She wants me downstairs. She can go to her spot. She doesn't like this rearrangement. Whoa. Yeah, this one, she left a hoodie. That was wonderful. Some vodka.
I got a hoodie, too.
Great. Paddle's got a hoodie. Fit perfectly. Mine fit perfectly. And then this is the, I did not know this existed in Austin, Crimson Creek Smokehouse. I'm usually a North Carolina barbecue person, but they brought back and just shout out the staff. I left it for the crew and stuff too. I mean, I ate a shitload. Kelly ate a lot. There were jalapenos, cream cheese stuffed jalapenos with bacon wrapped around.
No.
What? And then brisket and turkey. I was a brisket person. I didn't even a chicken. Yeah, I'm never. Chicken's fine, but it's not my favorite. When I see the brisket, I'm like, okay, I'm all in. Amanda brought me beer. I didn't check luggage, so I could only sneak that one can, and I don't even know how I did that. Like, I'm shocked I was. I don't want to say that. Yeah, I drank these at the venue after the show. And then Jan and Beth from Waco, thank you for the stuff. Oh, the do it for Dolly stuff. Yeah, I was like, what else? And the Bucky. Where's Bucky? Where behind me? Oh, he's up on the clock. It's a Bucky's plain head, but it's called a critter pillar, like a pillow. I don't think it's Bucky, but it looks exactly like Bucky. Yeah, so good enough for me. If it's good enough, if it looks like Bucky, I'm in. So, all right. And then rub. The Crimson Creek people brought me a barbecue rub. It's delicious. I already tried it. Yeah, well, I mean, I just ate it out of the jar. I didn't put it on anything. I tasted it. It's great. Whataburger. What happened there? I don't love that ranch. All right, moving on. So, do I look a little tired today? Probably, because I got up at 5 to watch the Queen's funeral.
Oh my God.
I did. It's a once in a lifetime event. And I picked CNN. I don't know why. But Anderson Cooper should just move there. I mean, he just go back and be a Vanderbilt. I've never seen anybody so like into it. Like he's so into it. But also it was a lot of lazy reporting on CNN. Well, how old are the children of William and Kate's? Well, fucking Google it. What are you saying? How old are they? You're the news people. You're supposed to be telling us. A lot of laziness when it comes to that. A lot of lazy reporting. I think people are having Justin Trudeau, your man, Paddles. They have video of Justin the night before in the lobby bar singing Queen songs, and maybe there was a little drinking involved. I'm saying what they're saying. I said, how do you know he's drunk? Maybe he just likes Queen and wanted to do some piano singing in the lounge bar. You know, I've done it. I can't sing, but if I could, I would. He sounded fine. Yeah, but it wasn't a good look. But he looked fine at church. He didn't look hungover. baby cat. Can you hear this cat?
Yeah.
I don't know if she's so loud. Meow, meow. Sorry, guys. Come here.
Come here. Come on. Come here. For real?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
She wants to be on the show. Here, baby cat. I'll just tell stories holding baby cat. She wanted up. She gets up. See everybody? Mwah. So feral. Okay, I forget I'm actually doing something. I'm trying to.
No, you're not.
I am.
I'm leaving.
Do you hear that, Pat? She's being named too. Oh my God! Turn into the target that you are. Attack her! Attack her! All right, get down. So I did get up because I wanted to see the whole thing because it's once, and it's never gonna. Well, it might happen again in our lifetime because King Charles might not make it that far. His hands are a little puffy. I don't know if anybody else has noticed. They're red and they're puffy, and I don't know. He just doesn't seem to have the chutzpah that his mom had. Even at the end, he was crying and biting his lip, and I'm like, I get it, but you've had this funeral for a week, and you're the new king. Buckle up, soldier. And, well, who wouldn't be excited to get the crown? I think Sapphire is September. I think I'm a Sapphire. That's the coolest Sapphire I've ever seen. And I wanted to see the president of Ireland because he looks like a real life leprechaun, and he waddled on in. His wife's way taller than him. I bet he's 5'4". I wanted him to bring his Bernese Mountain Dogs, but he did not. He brings them to all official receptions and cocktail parties. And then they just run around and scare the shit out of people because they're so big. But they're so sweet. Jill and Joe Biden were there. But then they were like all these other people. And CNN, #fail. Who are these people?
Right.
They were not identifying them like, okay, coming in now is the king and queen of Sweden. Somebody identified the guy in charge of Wales. Yeah, and his wife.
I'm sure he has a title.
Well, I don't think it's he's not the president. I don't think it's premier. And I don't think it's prime. It might be. It's called first minister. Something strange. Something I never heard of. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was something to see for once in your lifetime, I suppose. We might see it again if King Charles dies before us. But I did print this out as I don't know. I mean, you're either all in for the monarchy or you're not. I'd be in if they let him just stay there. The Commonwealth thing, but then I think it'd be great if I was a kid in Canada and I can go work in Australia.
I did.
You did.
Yep.
That's a good deal. But, the rest of it, it's a sordid history, if you will. A lot of violence. And some of it was fairly, recent. I mean, it wasn't like saying the Vikings that are no longer. They had a good 600-year run, and then it was over a long, long, long time ago. This is so Prince Charles, okay, so the Queen had a staff, Charlie's got a staff, I'm sure William and Kate have a staff. So it would make sense if the Queen dies, some of those people might get let go, because she doesn't need them all, and he's already got people.
Right.
But he let them know last week.
Come on.
They're sad. They like the lady. They've worked for her for 50 flipping years. Yeah, he told them all. Gig's up. I mean, it's going to take a few months. Did you have to? You couldn't have waited till this was over? And couldn't you keep some of them on? Don't you need people at Windsor Castle just in case somebody stops by for a crumpet or tea? What if somebody wants tea? Right. What about the bagpipe player who wakes her up every morning playing bagpipes out her window? Now, I'm wondering if I can get somebody to do that for me. I think it would be a wonderful way to wake up, but eventually you'd want to kill that. It's just like any other alarm. That's why I'll never pick one of my Queen songs, meaning my Queens, Stevie or these people, as my alarm, because you'll eventually grow to hate it and become angry at it. And then I thought eventually I would have a pellet gun and I'd be shooting at that bagpiper's feet just to get him to stop. But it was real sad at the end because he walked down the corridors of Windsor Castle and he just walked away. Like he was just going out forever. Like he was dying too.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And I've been to Windsor Castle, but I haven't been since I was like 20-something. I need to go back, I guess, now that the Queen is. But London, it's just so expensive. It's so, so crowded. And then I go, why would I go there when Ireland's right over there? This is some of the, so anyway, the staff was a little pissed off that Chuck E. Cheese did that. So clearly, a couple people with a little bit of anger released some of his ridiculous demands every day. His pajamas are pressed. Charles's. First of all, if you watch Downton Abbey, I don't need to explain it, but it was a show about a royal family. They weren't the king and queen. They were just lords and duchesses and whatever the hell those people out in the countryside are, right? But every night, their valet and then whatever you call her first maid, I don't know what you call the lady, they would wait up there for someone to come put on their pajamas. You're 50. What do you... I can't even imagine going, well, I can't go to bed.
Buttons are hard.
Yep, Sarah didn't come in and put on my pajamas. How am I supposed to figure this shit out? There's a, especially for a woman, there's something I put over my head, and then I'm done. I don't know. You tell me how you get in and out of this. It's like a spacesuit. Anyway, so I did not find it odd that his pajamas are pressed every morning, but I did find this. Are you kidding me? His shoelaces are pressed flat with an iron.
Shut up.
I'm serious.
That's ridiculous.
The bath plug has to be in a certain position. Do you not find it creepy that you're an adult and someone's running you a bath? I mean, unless I was crippled. Like, well, you know,
Right.
if I don't know, I couldn't do it, then maybe. And the water temperature has to be just tepid. Oh, dear Lord. And it can only be half full. Who does that?
Yeah, that's weird.
I fill that bathtub up. I have probably destroyed so many hotel bathroom floors because I call it my baby seal act. There's just water everywhere. They're giving it to you. Use it. The king even has his valets squeeze 1 inch of toothpaste onto his toothbrush every morning.
I mean, come on.
First of all, and a lot of people on my Twitter account commented, that's way too much.
An inch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need that much to... No, you don't.
It's imperial.
It's imperial.
Yeah.
See, they used imperial math. After getting ready, for what? For what? You don't have a job.
Your day.
After getting ready, King Charles's strict morning routine is continued with his breakfast. He has a healthier option. He'd have homemade bread, a fresh bowl of fresh fruit juices. This is a former member of the royal staff. Whenever he goes into the world, the breakfast box goes with him. He has 6 different types of honey. Come on. Wow. Some special muesli. Muesli?
Yeah.
Is that like oatmeal?
Granola.
Granola? Dried fruit. Oh, fuck. If this was I'm skipping it. I'll see you at lunch. And anything that's a bit special that he's a bit fussy about. He supposedly insists that his cheese and biscuits be warmed to a certain temperature at the end of meals and makes his staff keep a warming tray nearby. So he's particular about everybody, the royal insider said. He even brings his own toilet seat and Kleenex velvet toilet paper wherever he goes. I mean, it would also make me think you're not like a man. You're like a child, a man-child. You're like
You're a man. Yeah,
a man-child. Yeah. It's not very attractive. It's not an attractive quality in a man to go, I can't go to bed, nobody's put on my pajamas, and I can't brush my teeth because nobody put toothpaste on my toothbrush. I'm so stuck. I am just completely fucked sitting here, and I can't go to bed until somebody, I don't know.
2.5 centimeters.
Whatever your opinion is, I will say the funeral was a sense of occasion, if you will. There's so many words they use that this one really cracked me up. What the queen was some old white man. It was definitely a display of white power, though. Yes. I haven't seen that many white people in charge of shit in a very long time. Totally. Wow. And London has so many different nationalities now and races now, and they did not seem very well represented in the ongoings. But he said, what the queen was she was a sense of continuity. And I thought, wow, what if you're her? You wake up every day and go, my job is to be continuous.
Right.
I can't quit. I have to be here. And I have to be, and she did the job, I will say. She did it well. And she stayed married to Philip. I'll bet she looked at Sarah Ferguson and Diana and Meghan Markle and went, look, hoes, do you think I wanted to stay married to this jackstraw all these years? Fuck no, I didn't. But I did it because that's the gig. He's got girlfriends, I'll find boyfriends. I don't think she went for boyfriends. I think she went for horses instead. Not to have sex with them. I mean, that was how she spent her time. You go ahead. You sleep with all you want. I mean, she put up with so much shit, and then the younger ones are like, I think he's texting people. I'm with her on that. Right. Buckle up, stiff upper lip. This is the gig. Or if you don't like it, pull a Harry and Meghan, or like that old guy, George with Willis Simpson, the guy who quit. I asked my parents, but my dad's never wanted to ask as a super Irish Catholic person. I go, whatever happened to that guy that quit, that married the American divorcee? He goes, oh, they just ran around the world and sponged off rich people who wanted to say, oh, the royalty is staying at our vacation home in Destin, Florida. I go, Dad, I don't think they were in Destin, Florida. No. Well, you know what I mean. I think you mean Tahiti or Turks and Caicos or, yeah, they're down in the Ozarks. She made the best of it, you know? Things could be worse, right? You could have no job. You could have no money. I'm not the biggest fan of royalty or monarchy, but she particularly did the job that was asked for her. All these young ones, I don't like that, I don't like that. And, Diana, you're married to Charles. Do you want to sleep with him? No. Let him sleep with Camilla and go get a boyfriend. I'm sure the Queen was like, why can't we work this out? We've been doing this for hundreds of years. No one here is in love, for Christ's sake. What does that even mean to you? I'm a sense of continuity. That's what I'm here for. Continuity, to be a continuous ebbing flow of energy. I wouldn't blame her either. I'm with the Queen. Quit your bitching. You got a gig. It's a good gig. Right. The weather's a little weird, but fly out when you don't like it. Right. Go to Portugal. Yeah, right. Spain. All the Irish go to Spain. Yeah. Go to Portugal. Go to Spain. Lou loves Portugal. My sister loves Portugal. Yeah. Get on out. So that was really all my thoughts, hon. I was very tired, but I set my alarm. There were a lot of uniforms, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I was like, there's the Beefeater Gin guys. Now, I don't know what their real job is, but they're the ones on the front of Beefeater Gin. I was like, they're fucking real. I didn't know that. I mean, they still exist. They were part of the thing. Canada. You showed up. Canada. Your Mounties were riding right along in that parade, so looking very hip with their sort of pseudo-Western hats.
The Beefeaters are guards to any prisoners in the Tower of London.
They're right. They're guards to the people in the Tower of London, because I went to the Tower of London. I remember those were the guys there.
And they protect the crown jewels.
And the crown jewels are in the Tower of London, but there's no prisoners in the Tower of London anymore. So what are they really doing? Nothing. You know what they're doing? Talking to idiots like me that go, is anybody still staying here? And then they're like, no one's interned here.
I thought
The Mounties look great, and I like because their hat's a little Western. It's kind of a mix between a cowboy hat and a true Western hat. The red serge was wonderful. I can't think of. There was one lady CNN I had on too, and her voice. I won't even say it because it's probably mean. Maybe something's wrong with her voice, but it sounded like Bobby Kennedy, where it was, I can't. Oh my God, stop it! Get someone else. Yeah. And then I flipped around. Even the local news had sent somebody. I'm like, okay, we don't need to do. Yeah, we don't need a live reporter on the ground. There's plenty of people over there. We don't need that. But
Have you ever been in Nashville?
And then how about at the end, the guy that snaps the wand? Is that your only gig?
Yeah. No. He's the head of the house.
He's the head of the household?
That shows that.
Oh, so he's got fired?
Basically.
Oh.
But he gets to be on TV.
Well, he gets to be on TV, and he's all a lot of the Queen's staff are old. Maybe they'll be happy to retire. But it also made me almost cry, because they had the two corgis waiting for her, the dogs. Right. When the casket showed back up, and I'm like, I don't know. Now you're going to confuse the dogs. And then why are you giving them to Andrew? Nobody likes that guy. Well, for Sarah, I don't care. Leave them at Windsor Castle. That's their house. They like it there. They've texted me. They love Balmoral. But if you didn't get to see it at the very end of the funeral, there's like this wand, and he comes out and just goes, spit, and then puts the wand on top of the casket. And then they lower her into the ground. But they're taking her back out of the vault tonight for a special ceremony. Yeah, we're not invited to that.
No. You're not.
Oh, it's a sense of occasion. I'm never going to stop saying that now.
Oh, God.
Invite my sister over. Why would I come over there on a Thursday for no reason? Oh, it's a sense of occasion. Come on, please. All right. We're going to move on. I've talked about that for too long. There's other things that made me laugh, though. I just can't remember them. Because it was a long morning, and I was very, very tired. And then I thought maybe I should have a Bloody Mary instead of coffee, because the coffee was not working. I was not waking up. No. And I'm like, oh. And then they started doing the mass, and I was like, oh, yeah. They put Harry behind in the second row, Harry and Meghan. But, some of the people were saying, well, this is a slight to them. No, you quit. Sorry. You quit the gig. You didn't quit the family. I get it. You're still with the family. You're just not in the front row where us schmucks that have to go to every stupid, boring ribbon cutting in this country and smile and shake hands with people. We got to go do that shit. I would be so mad if I was William. If my siblings did that to me, I'm like, if I only had one, and they're like, yeah, I'm quitting. I'm going to L.A. What? No. There's no quitting. There's no quitting in our Disneyland characters. We're continuous. No, and didn't you hear the people on CNN? All right. Update.
Whoa.
Moving on. If I think of the other things, I'll tell you. That made me laugh. Michigan man. Traitor. He gets 5 years in prison for his role in the Capitol riot. He was sentenced to 5 years in a federal prison for his role. When he was part of the mob that attacked the Capitol. Judge Burrell. Wow. This is in the state of Washington. Burrell Hall. He also sentenced Anthony Robert Williams, 47, to 3 years of supervised release after his prison term in order to be paid $2,000 of restitution and a $5,000 fine. In June, he was convicted of obstructing a felony count of obstruction. And they had asked for 5 years and 4 months, so he got the 5 years plus that. In a Facebook post, this is where you just go, do we need to have a class for rioters and traitors? And go, look, if you're going to riot and you're going to be traitors, we're not going to post on the facial book.
Right.
We're not doing it. Yeah, he did. He posted Operation Swamp Storm Veteran and referred to January 6th as the proudest day of his life. He added that he felt like the founding fathers were smiling down on us in that room, and I guarantee my dad, my gramps, would be proud. His participation was purposeful, extensive, enthusiastic, and remorseless, said prosecutors in a court filing. Outside the Capitol, he stole water bottles that the police intended to use for decontaminating themselves from chemical spray. Jesus. What an I thought he was going to say because he was hot and he drank them. And I'm like, well, Nice. They said he entered the Capitol with his Senate wing and joined other rioters in overwhelming the police officers in the crypt area. He advanced to the rotunda where he celebrated with other rioters and smoked pot.
What?
When they tried to force him out of the rotunda, he joined with other forces, actively resisted, and mocked the police.
That's not good.
Yeah, his attorney said he's learned from his experience in listening to the testimony at the trial, and he will not become involved in something like this ever again. Well, let's hope there's not a thing to become involved with.
The riot part.
Yeah. You know what I'm done with? Rioting.
Yeah.
You're 47, sir. You know what?
By the way, did you go to the grassy knoll when you were there?
I did go to the grassy knoll because Kelly had never seen it.
Speaking of all this cute.
Yes, in Dallas. Yes, I did not see any cute people. It was a very low-key day on the grassy knoll. There was no one out. You know, the Texas School Book Depository, at least the last time I tried, you can tour that. Yeah. There's all kinds of shit in there. It's super cool if you're a history person. But once you're done with that, it's just a road. I mean, it's kind of cool to stand there because if you've seen the Zapruder film, as I have 7,859 times, you do get to see, like, okay, could there have been a guy over here and then somebody over here, and could he really shoot? Yeah, we drove down where Kennedy's car would have gone underneath the viaduct and then off on the highway and then back around. And then, unless you're going to do the whole tour, which we didn't have time for, well, I already done it. Anyway, there's nothing else to do. Yeah. Go get Mexican. Yep. That's what I... This update. This is getting more and more bizarre. It's the Brink's mystery in California. Yeah. Well, the timeline, my whole thing is, first of all, nobody goes in a Flying J for 30 minutes unless you have diarrhea. That's the only reason that I would accept as valid, or you were sick to your stomach and you were projectile vomiting. Anyway, it's been more than 2 months since the multi-million-dollar heist of jewelry from Brink's Brig Rig at the Grapevine truck stop. A Flying J, by the way. Yet key facts about the high-profile crime remain in dispute. Somebody's hiding something. And I have said this since the beginning. Either the drivers are in on it or the company's in on it. Just my opinion. We don't know if it's anywhere from $10 million to $100 million worth of jewels that were stolen. The questions are swirling around the timeline in a Brink's legal filing and Los Angeles County Sheriff's Document Department, which suggests an almost impossibly swift journey for the tractor trailer. This much is known. The big rig was loaded with tons of jewelry. They departed a jewelry show in San Mateo County, and they were headed 370 miles south to L.A. From there, players in the case disagree. Brink said in a lawsuit that its two drivers made the 298-mile trek from San Mateo to the Flying Travel Center in Lebec in about 2 hours, 4 minutes, even fitting in a stop along Interstate 5. To traverse that quickly, the vehicle would have had to drive at speeds of upward 140 miles an hour. No, it didn't. No. You ever see, if this is the same kind of Brink's trucks I see, they don't even look like they could go 90. No. They look like souped up mail trucks. Yeah. That's ridiculous. It would take more than 4 hours driving the route if you were doing the speed limit. So their timeline makes no sense. But this is Brink saying that. Why are you lying? We can find out. Because of insurance. I think it's insurance. Yeah. I'm not, well, let's say you're not telling the truth. I don't know if you're purposely lying. Why aren't we being told what happens? One of the clients said. Our clients deserve, or one of the lawyers said, our clients deserve an explanation. The victim suffered a life-altering theft, and they are given a set of facts that doesn't add up. It's unclear whether the improbability of the timeline laid out by Brinks and the sheriff's department could be attributed to a simple misstatement. Okay, maybe. Or another mundane explanation. I don't think you're going to get this shit wrong when your answer, it's the only thing that matters. Right. The time. And then what the hell did you do with the Flying J? Somebody's really asleep for a half hour in the front cab and one of you's in there. I don't believe it. Yeah. No. Similar caveats apply to questions about the timing of the authorities' response to the crime, in which the thieves stole 22 bags of booty. Of booty, they actually say that. While, according to Brinks, one of the drivers was asleep inside the sleeping berth, and the other one was getting food. It doesn't take you 30 minutes to get food in a Flying J. No. That's what's great about a Flying J. Right. Or a Bucky's, or a Love's. It takes no more than 5 minutes. Right. Maybe 10. They said that both drivers told a deputy that their vehicle left San Mateo at midnight. Information also noticed by a Brink's legal filing, so they agreed. At 2:05, the big rig arrived with the Flying J, and the driver who went to go get his meal, upon his return 27 minutes later at 2:32. So that makes sense if you're not lying. Brink said the driver discovered that an 18-wheeler had been compromised. A newly released issued by the sheriff's department said the theft occurred at the same time frame. But they're saying to be there in that amount of time, they would have had to go 140 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's not happening.
No.
They forget.
Yeah, I'm not going to go. I'm just saying. Recently, 2 Times journalists made the separate car trips down that 50-mile stretch of Interstate 5. One took 46 minutes. The other, completed in traffic that at times was very ever, took an hour and a half, hour 21 minutes. So again, your timeline is bullshit. The timeline was first disclosed in an August 4th lawsuit filed by Brinks against the affected jewelry companies whose merchandise the company was transporting to L.A. The complaint is part of a wider legal dispute between the Richmond, Virginia company and the jewelers over the size of the stolen haul. Yeah, they're arguing about how much was really worth it. I can't believe you don't know that. Somebody had to have known that. Hey, how much money worth of jewelry are we taking so we're insured for it? Right. I don't know. The sleeping driver said that he did not see who committed the burglary or didn't hear anything unusual or notice that they were being followed. But it said the thieves left something behind, metal fragments at the base of the trailer's locking mechanism. The incident report said the tractor's cargo, which included watches, jewelry, and other precious gems and items, was contained in orange marked Brink's bags. It also said that the blue Volvo big rig, so it was a big rig. That's another reason you're not going 140.
Right. I don't think they can.
I'm not sure. Do we have any big rig drivers, termites? Trucker termites?
Yeah.
Can you go 140?
Without getting pulled over?
Well, or without the back, going, especially some of those roads in the Grapevine up there. And yeah, I've done that drive.
It's full of jewels.
The report does not mention an alarm on the door of the Brink's trailer or cameras anywhere on the vehicles. Another thing I don't understand. Where's all that? The president of the jewelry show always thought there was an alarm on the door, but he certainly never checked it. I wouldn't either. I would trust Brink's.
Right.
Who else are you going to trust?
Right.
Or,
This is your job.
well, or just send it with someone unsuspecting like my mom. They'd have to know. If you don't know I did it, you would never follow my mom.
True.
Right. Take a Brink's truck. She's actually doing 42 in the fast lane, but you get the Brink's truck as the decoy. So if anybody is stalking you, these imaginary criminals that I don't even believe that, or they're friends of these people or something, somebody's all in on this, but then maybe you get the Brink's truck and then you really put all the shit in my mom's car. And off she goes in a GMC Terrain with $10 million.
Can we stop at McDonald's?
How do I turn on Sirius Radio? Just turn it on, Mom. Can we get podcasts through the car or just through your dad's phone? Where do I find it? Update on the drought. Right before I came on, too, how weird is this? Mexico had an earthquake. September 19th is the date today. It had two other ones in 1985, and I forget the other year, some 2000 year. Also on September 19th. And today they had a giant drill so everybody could practice. An hour later, it actually happened. Yeah. Wow. They had a national drill because they're like, well, we've had two on this date before. The drill was over. Everybody's like, ha ha. They go back to work. That was fun. I got to come out and smoke a cig. The upstream water used to keep Lake Powell afloat is running out. Mm-hmm. That's not good. Upstream reservoirs in the Colorado River Basin may not have enough water to keep Lake Powell above a critical threshold indefinitely. Federal officials have warned in recent weeks as the West's ongoing mega drought saps water from across the West. The Flaming Gorge River on the Green River. Is that the Green River where the Green River Killer was?
I was just thinking.
Is it? Which this year is releasing a huge amount of water downtown streams to help Lake Powell maybe only have enough water left for two or more similar emergency releases. Yeah, they told everybody in May to use water from an upstream reservoir, so they did, and they're going to have to plan for more, but it's going to fall too low to generate hydropower at the Glen Canyon Dam. The dam's a key source of energy in the region, generating power for as many 5.8 million homes and businesses in 7 states. Lake Powell's water level, 3,500 feet as of Thursday. That's 24% full.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, just an update. Shit's getting super duper weird. Once again, I'm sitting here eating potato sticks and drinking a Neato Bandito.
I bet there's somebody who's trying to help global warming.
There is someone trying to help global warming, and I'm going to say that at the end as a feel-good story.
Oh.
Yeah. Don't get ahead of yourself, pals.
I saw it.
Update! It's a tiny update. Because you guys know how I feel about Zuckerberg.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I'm not stopping till he's destroyed. Mega Platforms, Inc. is sinking down the ranks as one of the largest U.S. companies.
Mega Platforms, Inc.
Meta.
Meta.
Sorry, did I say Meta?
Yeah.
Meta. Meta is now ranked 10th by the market value as of Tuesday's close, falling behind Visa for the first time since the start of August. Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, ranked 5th among U.S. companies as recently as December. 5th! Now they're 10th, according to Dow Jones market data, and joined by 4 other big tech companies: Apple, Microsoft, Google parent, Alphabet, Google, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, the rest of this is super hard financial stuff, but it's sliding.
Yeah.
The children aren't buying into it.
No.
They don't like the Meta. They like the TikTok. Yeah. And I don't know what he's going to do about that. His psycho world isn't that stupid, whatever, metaverse. It's not. It's serious. Atari Pong was better. It was more real. It's not working. That's all of my updates. Holy shit. They found it. This is great. Discovery of ancient Maya city with more than 300 buildings halts ongoing railroad project in Mexico.
Whoa.
Can you imagine? 300 buildings. Jesus. And how well were they built that they're still around? Efforts to construct the $8 million Maya train project have yet again thwarted by the discovery of an ancient Maya archaeological site comprised of more than 300 buildings, according to the blah, 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 blah. Last Thursday at a regular news briefing held by Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador, the INH director, Diego Prieto, confirmed that an archaeological survey along Section 5 of the project between Playa del Carmen and Tulum has uncovered a significant archaeological site. More than 300 buildings have been found, some which stand over 26 feet tall.
Whoa.
Holy shit, like that's a real building. Yeah. Engineering adjustments are made to the second part of the section in order to protect an impressive archaeological site. Additionally, over 25,000 immovable assets have been uncovered along the sections as far as the railroad has traversed so far. This includes ancient roads, 431 ceramic pots, and 423 bones from human burials. The site is set to be protected as an ecological and archaeological corridor. The unearthed artifacts are expected to go on view through museums throughout the country. So the train's delayed. Sorry for those of you who are excited about the Maya train. That won't be coming until December 2023. Sorry, found a village. Sorry. At least they're building trains. This country's not. How about a new train? Anybody? Holy shit, they found it. This is great. It's so pretty. I'm going to put the pictures in the show notes for you people to know what that is. Palestinian farmer discovers rare Byzantine-era mosaic while planting an olive tree in Gaza.
Cool.
Last spring, a Palestinian farmer, they're just announcing this today. It's not like I'm reading you guys old shit. He was planting a new olive tree when his shovel hit a hard object. He called his son, and for 3 months, they're all by themselves. The pair slowly excavated an ornate Byzantine-era mosaic. Experts say the discovery of the mosaic, which includes 17 well-preserved images of animals and birds, is one of Gaza's greatest archaeological treasures. Wait till you see how perfect they are.
I like that a farmer took it out with it.
Just some farmer. Yeah, he just hit it. He's like, God damn it, these olive trees aren't growing. What is the problem? Because they apparently were successful in other places in his little farm or whatever. The discovery has set off excitement among archaeologists, and the territory's Hamas rulers are planning a major announcement in the coming days. But it's also drawing calls for better protection of Gaza's antiquities, a fragile collection of sites threatened by lack of awareness and resources. They don't have enough money on that side to deal with all this. So, isn't there like some international archaeological deal you can call? I'll Google it. I'll text you guys. These are the most beautiful mosaic floors discovered in Gaza, both in terms of the quality and the graphic representation and the complexity of the geometry, said so-and-so Renee Eltier, an archaeologist from the French Biblical and Archaeological School of Jerusalem. Never have mosaic floors of this finesse, this precision in the graphics and richness of colors have been discovered in the Gaza Strip. The colors are amazing. There's like a flamingo that is pink, 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 pink. I didn't even know how they painted shit back then. He said the mosaic pavement dates back to the time between the 5th and 7th centuries, but he said a proper excavation must be conducted to determine when exactly it was built and whether it was part of a religious or secular complex. This guy, who's also conducted other research in Gaza, has not been able to visit the site, but he's viewed a series of photos taken by his local research people. It was discovered just a half mile from the Israeli border. He said the discovery is in immediate danger because it's close to the Israeli separation fence. And then there's always kind of fighting around there, too, where people are launching shit at each other. That would be terrible. Like, it's perfect. And some of them look like Celtic knots. It's weird. Yeah.
That's cool.
Well, maybe we hacked them. Maybe we stole the Celtic knot. Such areas along the fence are often the scene of intermittent clashes or Israeli incursions. Just last month, Israel and Gaza's Islamic Jihad militant group fought a fierce battle, 3-day battle there that included Israeli shelling of militant posts and landing on some of the misfired Palestinian rockets in the area. They also worry that excavations by inexperienced people could damage the site. Right. Like if I found one, I wouldn't call my brother and say, bring a toothbrush. We're going to really get down on this shit and a shovel, Pat. Do you have a hoe? Could you bring that? It's imperative to quickly organize an emergency rescue intervention. Yes, I agree. But the pictures of this thing are phenomenal. And then I think, this guy was nice enough. Him and his son took three months trying to figure out. He finally called whoever you're supposed to call. I don't know who that would be. And, is he going to get any money? It's his land.
Yeah.
And now he can't plant stuff there. And I'm sure he's not rich. He's a Palestinian farmer. I'm sure this guy does not have any money.
He'll get a grant.
A grant?
Yes.
I'll take it.
Go fund me.
All right, this was bullshit. Next story. I saw this live. So back to King Charles for a minute. So they went out to talk to the people. And some guy heckled. I was not aware of what he said. And I saw the cops pounce on him. And then, arrest him. And I was like, what the fuck? Right. What year is this? The year, 10, where the king can chop my head off because you don't like what I said? You're in public. Right. You're on a public street, King Charles. I mean, maybe he owns the streets. I don't know. But all of a sudden, somebody can't heckle? Well, this guy, I wouldn't do it. I think it's rude. But we talked about this the last time. But this guy... So here's what happened. While thousands of people have taken to the streets of the United Kingdom to remember Queen Elizabeth following her death last week, critics of the monarchy have used the opportunity to protest, holding signs such as "Not My King," a reference to the new King Charles III. Police have intervened and in some cases arrested protesters, raising serious questions about the way in which some forces are cracking down on dissent in the country. This is what I'm saying. They didn't do anything violent. Liberty, a civil rights group, expressed concern, saying it's very worrying to see the police enforcing their broad powers in such a heavy-handed and punitive way to clamp down on free speech and expression. That's going to happen if you have a parade. Every time I go on stage, somebody could yell shit at me.
Right.
I mean, You're not getting arrested. You probably get thrown out if I don't like it. But I get to do that because it's my show. Right. This is his show, but you can't get arrested. You may not like it. The other thing is buck up, man. Right. It's one heckle. There's millions of people. Focus on the people that like you. The man does not squeeze his own toothpaste. I'm sure he's like, someone's yelling at me. What should I do?
He's not a dude.
This guy, Simon Hill, from Oxford, was on his way home from church. 45-year-old told CNN that the roads in the city center had been cordoned off for the procession, making it hard for him to get through the crowds. Realizing the ascension was about to be proclaimed by local officials, he decided to listen rather than pushing to get home. They started reading out loud about Elizabeth and expressing grief for her death. I certainly wouldn't interrupt that. I never intruded on an act of mourning. That's not something I would ever do. Okay, fine. Good manners.
Right.
No one should do that. I agree. But when King Charles was declared to be our only lawful and rightful liege lord, L-I-E-G-E, I don't even know what that means. Liege lord. Lord of leisure. He yelled out, who elected him? Well, that's a good point.
Having the right to feudal allegiance or
is liege, having the right to feudal allegiance?
Or service.
Or service. Yeah. Okay, well. This guy screamed after they said he was declared our only lawful and rightful liege lord. This guy, Simon, said, who elected him? And
True.
I don't have a problem with that because the answer is no one did.
Right.
Only people nearby could have heard me. A couple people told me to shut up. I responded that a head of state is being imposed without our consent, and I found it something hard to stomach.
Oh.
I don't disagree.
I don't either.
He said he was gobsmacked. That's a word I don't use often enough. I'm going to have to figure out how to put that in the language. I like it. I was gobsmacked by what happened next. He was pushed back by security guards. Then the police intervened, grabbed a hold of me, handcuffed me, and put me in the back of a van. It was probably no more than 5 minutes since I yelled out, who elected him. He said once he was in the police van, he kept asking what he was being arrested for. What law was he being arrested under? They didn't seem to be sure, which is quite worrying. Surely arbitrary arrest is not something we should have in a democratic society. He said he was given conflicting reasons for his arrest, as police were unsure whether or not to take him into custody. After a lot of the police talking to each other and their superiors on the radio, the police in the van told me that I'd been de-arrested and taken home.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, and that I would be contacted and asked to give an interview at a later date. He said I would still be charged with something. Even at this point, they hadn't answered my questions about under what law was I being arrested. He told the police officers on the drive home that he'd been arrested under he said he was told by the cops that he was been arrested under the Police Crime Sentencing Courts Act 2022, a controversial piece of legislation introduced last year, which widens police powers to clamp down on protest. And then some other guy told him it was a different section, that he was an offense causing harassment, alarm, or distress. Well, I'm sure it alarmed Charles, because, this is a man who has some other man put his pajamas on and iron your shoelaces. Speaking to CNN, see, this guy had a good point. This somebody for the civil rights said, we could equally say someone holding up a sign saying we love the monarchy is being seriously annoying to someone who doesn't like the monarchy. True. Where does this end? Right. Oh, you don't. It's supposed to end with when you do something violent, right. Not words. Well, maybe a threat, I guess. You could do that. He said he did not want to interrupt expressions of royal mourning. He did not travel to Buckingham Palace where people were paying their respect. Rather, he went to Parliament Square, a traditional site of political protest in London and the House of Parliament. He stood alone as he held up a blank piece of paper. Within a few minutes, a police officer came and asked for my details. He said if I wrote "Not My King" on it, I would probably be arrested because it's offensive under the Public Order Act. I couldn't actually risk writing it because I couldn't get arrested because I had to represent a client, he's a lawyer, in a tribunal or something this morning. The point is, even the threat of arrest has a very chilling effect on free speech.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just bullshit.
This is people who used to be head people.
What?
They used to be head people.
These people used to be head people? Yeah, well, right.
Death penalty.
Right, Tower of London, and then we're going to chop your head off. Just because you say, I don't like the king or he's not my king, now I get arrested? I mean, that's really rolling the clock back.
Yes.
This is a democratic society that happens to have a monarchy that's symbolic. They don't even do anything. Ribbon cuttings, hospital openings, funerals.
It's a kingdom.
It's a kingdom. The United Kingdom.
To those.
Burger King wants us back.
Where'd we go?
I guess everybody's left Burger King. Now, I like Burger King's. I just like their regular burger. Yeah. I've never had a Whopper in my whole entire life.
It's a lot.
It just seems like a lot of shit on there. I'm not going to eat half of it anyway. Yeah. I think the problem is nobody's thinking about Burger King anymore. No. Here's what happened. Here's what they're going to do. Let's see if you find it all. If you think this trickery will work on you. Past few years have been tough for Burger King. Missteps during the pandemic caused the chain to lag behind competitors. Over the past few quarters, Burger King has been playing catch-up, and now the company is hoping a major investment in restaurants and advertising will help spark growth and propel it ahead of its peers. In the next 2 years, Burger King, which is owned by Restaurant Brands International, in case you'd like to buy their stock, is planning to invest $400 million in improving the brand. $250 million will go towards updating research, tech, kitchens, and remodeling. Mm,
I don't think anybody cares.
we don't care what the kitchen looks like.
You can't flame broil on an advanced kitchen.
Right. You're supposed to be flame broiling. I want to see fire back there.
Fire!
And $150 million to advertising and digital products. Franchisees will also invest on the improving brand. Oh, God, I wouldn't want to get stuck with that bill. That's like an HOA fee. What? We need a new roof? Fuck off. One key part of the plan, reminding customers what Burger King is all about, the Whopper. What we really want to do in the short term is reintroduce America's love affair with the Whopper. You know what if they really wanted to do? You want to get my mom and dad?
Yep.
You take that McDonald's soft serve ice cream that they serve for $1, go 75 cents. Oh, Jack and Vicky'd be two-wheeling it in there. And the dog gets one. Mm-hmm. They're also going to lean into advertising its signature burger. I don't think we've talked about it enough. We haven't celebrated it enough. The Whopper. We're going to celebrate. It's a vacation.
I think it's their sauce. Everybody has that sauce now.
Their sauce?
Yeah.
Isn't it like Thousand Island? I never get it. I don't ever like whatever special sauces are. You keep it special. You keep it to yourself. I don't want any of it. And I'm looking forward to putting it back in its rightful place. Burger King wants to remind customers that the Whopper is flame grilled and customized. They have a great burger. So does Wendy's. The question is, if I see Wendy's, Taco Bell, well, first of all, I'm always going to Taco Bell or Arby's. If I'm in a burger mood, I'd go to Wendy's. Yeah. I like their burger. I don't think about burger. They are right. We have forgotten. I have. I don't think about it. If I went super, super drunk tacos, Jack in the Boxes. They just come with a pile of grease on the bottom. You have to be drunk. If you're drunk, they're the greatest things you've ever eaten. No, Taco Bell's perfect sober. Or drunk, right. But I'm just saying, super drunk, Jack in the Box. We're a little bit of we're a little bit in the cap. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So they want to keep the Whopper. Okay, I get it. During the pandemic, this is what went wrong. Restaurants had to adjust quickly to their business models to contend with the disrupted supply chain, closed dining rooms, and a spike in demand for delivery. Burger King didn't adapt very well. Over the last few years during the pandemic and coming out of the big pandemic, Burger King didn't do a great job of adjusting our business to the environment. We didn't simplify. Well, look at him being honest. Here's what's went wrong. Yeah, we were terrible. In the pandemic, many restaurants quickly slimmed down menus in order to simplify kitchen operations when delivery orders suddenly went through the roof. Workers scrambling to fill online orders, at least to avoid complicated preparations. We, in fact, complicated things. They went the opposite way. We added more menu items during the pandemic. Oh, my Lord. Why would you, even Taco Bell would be like, we're out of cheese, meat, and lettuce. I'm like, all right, what else you got back there? Tomatoes, fajita wrap. That's fine. I'll take 2. Okay. Everybody was running out of ingredients. Don't put more shit. Specifically, he's talking about the chicken, a hand-breaded chicken sandwich that they introduced last year. I still haven't tasted one. The product created tons of bottlenecks operationally. The issue set back Burger King as competitors advanced. In the second quarter, sales at Burger King remained open at least 13 months, but grew by just 4%.
Not to mention there was no chicken in the pandemic.
Chicken! No, there was no chicken. They're going to work on other menu innovations. They're going to open 800 restaurants over the next 2 years.
What?
Uh-huh. They're going to make their restaurants look more modern. They've already started upping the image. The brand changed its logo last year, switching packaging, uniforms, and signature. I'm going to go. They're trying. I'm going to go to Burger King.
Their new logo looks like a 70s logo.
A 70s logo? Yes. I'm going to go in a town where there's nothing specific to eat in that town, so I don't really care what I'm going to eat.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But, yeah. The company also wants to make it clear, easier for customers to use the chain's mobile app, revamp its rewards program by offering customized digital deals, and make delivery and to-go orders more convenient. Well, I'm just saying, the reason we do this on this little pubcast is so that when you drive by and see your new Burger King, you're in the know.
I'm on their website. Their website needs an update, let alone
the website needs an update?
Come on.
Is it bad?
Yeah,
A croissant witch? Yeah, it sounds good. Better than an Egg McMuffin. After 75 years, this is a new story. Cheetahs are returning to India in a grand experiment. Cheetahs? Cheetahs. Yes, they've been without Cheetos for 75 years. And they're very sad, sad people. I'd be sad if I didn't have Cheetos for the rest of my life. Cheetahs once prowled India among lions, tigers, and leopards. They appear in ancient Hindu texts and in cave paintings and are woven into centuries-old tapestries. The Mughal Emperor Akbar kept 1,000 cheetahs in his stables. I would love that. No, you wouldn't. Well, I don't want to handle them. I'm just saying. There was an old German. No, what did they have? Not an emperor, a king. It wasn't a king of Germany. He was super into dachshunds, and he had like 100. Dachshunds. It's a German dog anyway. My brother's always had dachshunds, and I do think they're hilarious, and they're super snugglers. So nothing to not like, but they can be very bad too. Like they're vindictive. I know for sure. Sometimes my brother's dog would just go to the bathroom because he's angry. Like you left left him too long. Because he'd go right in the middle of the bed. Like crazy things. But anyway. When that king, I can't remember, King might have been Wilhelm Kaiser, one of the Kaisers, when the foreign dignitaries would come, he'd bring them all in the main castle room, and then he'd go, "Release the hounds!" And 1,000 dachshunds would run in. I would be in heaven. A lot of people, I think, would be disturbed. That's pretty cool. But to have 1,000 cheetahs? Oh, imagine if you let them go, because they can go 75 miles an hour. That's why I love them. Not to mention, I just like any kind of cat. But for 75 years, the entirety of its existence as an independent nation, India has been bereft of cheetahs, the world's fastest land animal. That changed on Saturday when 8 cheetahs arrived in central India after a flight from Africa, initiating a great untried experiment for the world, whether a top predator population can be brought back to life in a place where it was long ago hunted to extinction. Whoa. Yeah, I can't say any kind of educated opinion on whether we should be doing this or not, because I don't know enough about food chains and predators and all that shit, but I would love to see a cheetah in the wild. I get excited about a bobcat on a golf course, and a cheetah. Imagine if you were driving along the road and you saw a cat going faster than your actual car. I mean, they can't go very long that quickly. The big cats arrived in India on a Boeing 747 from Namibia. A military aircraft took them to their new home, Kuno National Park, in a lush river valley where butterflies fluttered over miles of greenery in the state of Madhya Pradesh. A huge convoy of politicians and supporters traveled along the remote park to welcome the cheetahs. It's the only large mammal India has lost. It's our moral and ethical responsibility to bring them back. There might be some local farmers and stuff that might be, but they're in a park. Yeah. That's fine. Can you get out, though? I don't know. Like Banff National Park, those animals don't leave. No. There's greats. Those Texas greats. Greats? Yeah. They can't leave? Some places, no. I don't know everywhere. The plan to return the cheetah dates back to India, dates almost to the time of their extinction in the country, and it represents a bold and uncertain attempt to ensure their survival by redistributing them from Africa, where their population is in sharp decline. That sucks, too. Yeah. The project also reflects the muscular nationalism of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who is bringing to bear India's growing wealth and scientific knowledge. The cat's entry was timed for his 72nd birthday. Oh, fabulous. Oh, for your birthday, you got 8 cheetahs. That's fabulous. That's great. He celebrated Saturday by releasing them into a soft enclosure at Kuno. The cheetahs scurried out of their cages, appearing disoriented. Along with these cheetahs, the nature-loving consciousness of India has also awakened with full force. The cheetah dates back around 8.5 million years ago, and they were once found in great numbers across Africa, Arabia, and Asia. Now they live exclusively in Africa, other than a few in Iran. That's weird. Aren't they like a cat? Don't you have like 4 or 5 kittens? I don't know. The population is estimated to be fewer than 8,000, down half over the last 4 decades. With their habitat loss and dangers leaving cheetah vulnerable to extinction in Africa, many conservationists argue that it is wise to resettle some of the animals. India's government will spend roughly $1 million with the support of the Indian Oil Corporation over the project for the next 5 years. The 8 cheetahs were a gift from the government of Namibia. The plan is to translate batches of cheetahs from southern Africa until India achieves a population of around 40. Then what? I don't understand. Apart from cheetahs in South Africa's national parks, some of the 500 animals are managed in privately owned reserves. As their numbers have grown, they've been exported to other African countries. What cheetahs more than anything is protected space. India offers a wonderful opportunity for cheetahs to be in a protected space. Still, some experts wonder if India has enough for the cheetahs to survive. And then it goes on to an argument that we don't need to get into. Mm-hmm. The idea of reintroducing them popped up in 1952, 5 years after its independence from Britain, when India had its first wildlife meeting, but then they said nay. So it's a very old idea, and they're bringing it back.
That's crazy.
Yeah. What are we going to do when there's 40?
Well, they haven't thought that far.
I guess not. It's going to take them a hot minute. We'll do an update once I find out if they got to 40. Right now they're at 8. Oh, my God. This is perfect. Absolutely perfect. So, I read this thing that there's this pop star in Russia, and they said she'd be the equivalent of America's Dolly Parton. Well, I went and looked on Alla Pugacheva's YouTube channel, and I'm not seeing at all. I thought they meant musically, and hers are like, what would you do if I could, like war songs, or the ones I saw.
Well, they are still at war.
They're always at war in some way or form, but they're like smoky. It reminded you like a smoky World War II bar with some lady. I don't get it, but I admire her because she's come out against Putin. Now, I hope she doesn't stand near windows or don't go to any rooftop parties. I'd say don't do that. You're probably going to get thrown off. Yeah, the showbiz star, one of Russia's most popular singers, Alla Pugacheva, has called on the Russian authorities to declare her a foreign agent in solidarity with her strongly anti-war husband, Maximum Gallik. He's also a show business star. He was labeled as a foreign agent on Friday after condemning Russia's attack on Ukraine. See, I don't think I'd have the balls for this. I would be too scared. I would pull, who was it? Who's Mikhail Brezhnev? Yep. The ballet guy. I would just leave. Yeah. And that sucks because you're probably leaving family. And Baryshnikov, right. He came to St. Louis once, and I had to go as part of some school thing. I fell asleep.
He was on Sex and the City.
He was? Yeah, I never watched it. On social media, she called her husband a true, incorruptible Russian patriot who wants to end our lads dying for illusory aims. She's been a big star for decades. She said the Kremlin, they're trying to make our country a pariah and the lives of our citizens extremely difficult. Her husband, a comedian, TV presenter, and singer, wanted prosperity for his motherland, peace, and free speech. The label foreign agent has been applied by the Russian government to various media organizations, campaign groups, and individuals openly critical of the Kremlin's policies. See, I also wouldn't do it right now because I think he knows he's losing in Ukraine, and he's psycho mad.
Yeah,
like, I don't want to... Look at Brittany Griner, the WNBA girl. I know you shouldn't have had a vape pen. I get it. But, I mean, do we need to throw a vape pen kid in a gulag? I mean, come on. Right. And she's not a kid. She's 30, but whatever. This lady, I mean, a huge amount of respect, but I couldn't. She doesn't perform anymore. She's 73 years old. Her and her husband went to Israel in late March, a month after the Russian invasion, and she returned to Russia late last month with her 3 children. See, I don't know if I'd have gone back.
No.
In early September, Putin's spokesman said of her husband, our paths have clearly diverged. He has made very bad statements. Galkin condemned Russian troops' alleged atrocities and said there could be no justification for the Ukraine invasion. Pugachev, whose pop stardom goes back to Soviet times. That's what it sounds like. Soviet World War II music in a smoky bar. Maybe there's more fun videos. Maybe I started too far back. I don't know. She's the biggest pop star in Russia in the past 50 years. Her fame is monumental. She's a legendary figure. I think this is something that so many people have expected her to do some time ago because her husband, Maxim Galkin, he made his anti-war statements already many times and several months ago. I think this is her first strong political statement, and this in and of itself, of course, is quite shocking for the Russian people. I think she's not the only one who may turn the public opinion. The obvious wrongdoings of the Russian army and the offensive of the Ukraine army and the worsening economic situation and so on, all of those factors, they work against Putin and the Putin war. But I think morally and emotionally, this statement of Alla Pukacheva is maybe one of the strongest efforts in these directions. And then that says what Russia claims they're doing. Now, see, here's another way you could do it. Go to Israel. You were already there. Stay. And then just make videos and put them all online and say but then you'd be safe. Maybe I'm being selfish, but I don't know that I'd want to go back. No. If I know he's going to kill me.
You may never get out.
You may never get out, and he doesn't have a problem, getting rid of people. Right. What are our feelings on the $2 bill?
I don't have any.
I have one because I thought we were supposed to save them.
I have no bills. I have no feelings.
You have no bills? You have no feelings?
No, not about the bill.
You have feelings about the Buffalo Bills.
Mm-hmm.
Inflation has made it. Oh, don't put this on inflation. Come on. Inflation's made it hard to buy much with the dollar these days. We couldn't buy anything with $1 40 years ago. $1 pizza has disappeared. Dollar stores aren't dollar. They haven't been dollar stores in years. Ask my nieces. The one is a dollar store and the other one isn't. And then I make the mistake when they were little and took them to the one that wasn't. And then we had to do math. And I was like, I'm going to blow my brains out in this store. Wouldn't it make start to sense paying bill with $2 bills instead? If you had a $2 bill, perfect, said Heather McCabe, a writer and $2 evangelist who runs the blog Two Buckaroo, chronically her spending with twos and people's reactions. It's a very useful thing to pay for a small amount. Yet the $2 note is the unloved child of paper currency. It's considered a curiosity. Yeah. Somebody did give me one about a year ago somewhere, and I was like, huh. But then I always just give them to the kids, like, keep it, man. Save that. It's worth I didn't think there were that many. Many Americans think $2 bills are rare. This American is one of those people. And they're not printed anymore or have gone out of circulation. Yes, I thought all of that. Wrong. Treasury Department, they'll print up to $204 million $2 bills this year based on an annual order from the feds. There were 1.4 billion $2 bills in circulation in 2020. Where are they?
Right. Who's hoarding them?
Somebody's hoarding them.
Right.
Absolutely. I mean, I guess I'd use them, but they gotta flush them in.
Right.
You gotta put tons of them, and then you gotta start taking the dollars back.
Agreed.
You can't leave the dollars floating around.
Nope.
God, they first issued a $2 bill in 1862. Wow. Alexander Hamilton's portrait was on the two until a new series printed in 1869 with Jefferson. It was unpopular and it never gained a foothold. The main reason the $2 bill was considered bad luck. Superstitious people would rip off the corners of the bill to reverse the curse, making the bills unfit to use. What kind of asshole would rip up their own money?
Yeah. I don't know.
He who sits in a game of chance with a $2 bill in his pocket is thought to be saddled with the jinx. That's what they said in the New York Times in 1925. They have been avoided as ill-starred. Who talks like that? The two was also known for keeping controversial company. It's associated with gambling, where it was the standard. Yeah, a $2 bet at the racetrack. I never thought about that.
Wow. Yeah.
You can't do a $1 bet.
Why?
$2 your starter bet. It is a racket. Maybe that's what they were doing to get the twos out. Crony candidates frequently used $2 bills to bribe voters in the early 19th century. Someone holding a $2 bill was thought to have a solid have sold a vote to a crooked politician. Ooh, so many superstitions. The Treasury Department tried unsuccessfully to popularize it. It never worked. It gave up and discontinued printing them in 1966 because of lack of public demand. But a decade later, the Treasury designed a new $2 bill series with a portrait of the signing of the Declaration of Independence on the back. The aim was to cut the number of $1 bills in circulation and save the Treasury money on production costs. But the relaunch in 1976 failed too. People viewed the as a collector's item and hoarded them instead of going out and spending them. Yes, wow. I am a dumb American and a hoarder. I've learned from this article. Well, the press and the public now tend to link the $2 bill with the Susan B. Anthony dollar, the coin. Yeah. Well, here was the problem with the Susan B. Anthony coin. It was almost the exact same weight and look as a quarter. What? Do you remember this? No, Canada doesn't know about this. I don't know that. Well, for a while we had a $1 coin, and Susan B. Anthony was on it. Mm-hmm. But unlike like coins in Ireland or England, which are awesome because they're thick, and when it's in your pocket, you feel like you're super rich. Mm-hmm. They're heavy, like you could hurt somebody. Well, I'm talking about the old Irish pounds and the English pounds. Mm-hmm. Like if I threw it at you, it would hurt. Right. Yeah. If you got too many in your pocket, but as an American, you were thinking, man, I don't have much money left. And then you pull your change out of your pocket or your purse. You're like, fuck, that's like $30. Like you can't believe those are worth that. So it was kind of cool. So we did this Susan B. Anthony dollar coin. It was silver. It was about the same weight as a quarter, and it looked like a quarter. So I'm like, well, this is never going to work. Right. It did not differentiate itself enough. And people were just like, fuck it, I ain't doing that. There's no rational reason why $2 bills aren't as popular as other bills. So-and-so said, some professor. But people exhibit a preference for multiples of 1 and 5. Another reason $2 bills never took off, cash registers invented in the 1800s were never designed with a place to hold them, so the cashiers didn't know where to stash them. Okay, well, we're a little bit beyond that. I don't even know why we're still talking about cash. Right. What are we doing? Really? Hey, could you Venmo me a $2 bill? Since the 1970s, fans of Clemson University Tigers football team have paid and tipped with $2 bills, Tiger Twos, in other cities, restaurants, bars, and shops, and hotel. The tradition started as a way to prove to Georgia Tech and Atlanta that it would benefit the city to schedule games against Clemson. There's a degree of popularity to them. There's a sense of excitement. Not really. Oh, there's actually a film. 2015, this guy made a documentary called the $2 Bill Documentary, and he made it his mission to educate people and enlighten them and start using $2 bills in their life. How specifically driven do you have to be to go, that's the documentary I'm doing? I mean, there's a lot of topics. Oh, he says they're underappreciated, and it's a way for strangers to meet and engage. You will get remembered if you use a $2 bill. It has the ability to connect people in ways that other bills don't. I don't see it. They got to flood it and take all the ones back. If that's what they want to happen, they need to take control, and that's on you, U.S. governmental. That's on you. That's on you. That's not on me. All right, we're closing with a feel-good story. Well, this is not a political statement. And I told you I'd tell you about this art guy in Las Vegas, but I'm going to have to do that next week because I'm going to have to read a little bit more. I lost time on that one. But what's the gist of that? What's the gist of that? The gist of the art one? Mm-hmm. This guy spent 50 years building this freakish thing in the desert in Nevada. Huh? Yes. 50 years. It's finally done. Is he crazy? You can only go there on foot. I don't know. I'm going to find out if he's crazy. Oh my God. Yeah. Now, I don't even like to leave the Mirage to walk across the street to Harrah's. I'm like, oh, I don't know. It's so hot. Oh. This is, like, I complain frequently about super rich people in this country because I don't see the generous gifts that to the general public that used to be made. For instance, the Rockefellers. There's museums all over the place. The Carnegies. Yeah. Oh my God, did they? In Pittsburgh, but all over the country. The Carnegies gave away public museums, libraries, parks. Like they donated and donated and donated and didn't get nothing back for it. Right. I don't feel like rich people these days do that on the level that it used to be. Hershey, the chocolate guy in Pennsylvania, Hershey, Pennsylvania. Holy shit show, that guy gave away some money. He created a wonderful, wonderful, the whole town is him. Of stuff to educate people, the general public, just anybody. You didn't have to work for Hershey to go to the whatever. So I just feel like there's so many rich people and you don't see that kind of stuff anymore where, boom, here's a whole museum that's free or whatever, $5 and provided to you by the Carnegie Mellon, whatever, or I don't know that the Vanderbilts did it. Those kind of families. Right. You know what I'm saying. Well, Patagonia is stepping up. $3 billion corporate gift. They're giving all the stock away.
Wow. How much?
For climate change. B.
Billion.
Yep. Now, it's also a convenient way to avoid taxes, but yeah. But that's okay. At least he's doing it for a good reason. Right. Yvon Chouinard, who started Patagonia in 1973 and turned it into an iconic $3 billion outdoor apparel empire, just gave away almost all of the private stock in the family-owned company to a nonprofit that will use the proceeds to fight climate change.
That's awesome.
It is completely awesome. I mean, I don't even know if you can fight climate change. There's part of me that's like, I don't know. I think we jumped the shark. I think we wrecked the house. The party got too crazy. But it's nice that an outdoor company wants to save the outdoors if possible. It's a masterful bit of corporate maneuvering that will allow his family to effectively maintain control of Patagonia, direct billions towards climate advocacy, and almost entirely avoid taxes in the product. Most of Patagonia's shares, 98%, are going to a nonprofit, meaning that Chouinard will not have to pay taxes on that gift.
That's great, though.
It's wonderful. I mean, there's people that are like, well, that's kind of, what if some other company did it and they gave away all their money to oppose climate change? Mm-hmm. Okay, well, we can start that fight. Right. You guys want to get in that war?
Find somebody with $3 billion.
Find somebody with $3 billion who's got a cool jacket. Who was the one? Which was the outdoor company where the guy actually died? In a river, in a kayak.
Columbia?
I'll have to Google it for next week's talk.
It was like a Patagonia, but not.
It was like it might have been a Patagonia.
This guy founded it.
Yeah, he's still alive, so he didn't die. But could have been the CEO or something. Yeah, I'll find out. Update! Okay, termites. Well, I lost my paperclip on that one. So termites, when you hear this, I'll be coming to Chattanooga. Did you know you can stay in the Chattanooga choo-choo train? Yes, you can.
Are you staying in it?
No, I have stayed in it. I'm not going to be staying in it this time. And then Knoxville, Tennessee. I'm just barreling straight down that road.
What else is happening in
Knoxville, the game, the Tennessee game. I can't get away from these college games. My God, downtown Austin was psycho with Texas Longhorn people everywhere. I mean, it's a fun atmosphere. I wish I was going to the game, but I was going to work. And still people came in that traffic to see me. I was shocked. And they get an extra round of applause for that, Austin, because they had but Dallas did too, because my cousins came to that show, and they had to battle the Michael Bublé traffic.
Yeah. What? Wait, what?
Michael Bublé was also in downtown Dallas. My theater is like 1,500 seats. He's like probably the American Airlines Center or something like that. He's my friend Lorraine's mom's favorite singer. Just for the record, Michael Bublé. Anywho, so the Tennessee game is on Saturday. My show is on Friday night in Knoxville. But like everybody's getting in because I was Googling and I'm like, why the fuck are hotels in Knoxville $485,000? And I'm like, oh no. So if you got nothing to do on that Friday, you can come on down and see a little comedy show if you'd like to battle the crowds. And then I'm still going down the road. Asheville.
Fun.
Yep.
People have asked a lot of
I love Asheville.
What do you like?
I like the craft beers. I love going to the Biltmore. But I'm becoming like my mother. I go in these places and I'm like, I've never seen this shit. And I know I've been there 13 times. I'm like, but they'll tell me a story. It's like brand new. Oh, really? Then what did the Vanderbilts do? And then the Vanderbilts, and then the Vanderbilts. It really is an amazing, amazing place if you've never been. And then I like to go to what used to be the Grove Inn and I think is now an Omni. And they have the coolest fireplace in there. I mean, it's not cold right now, but they'll still light it. And then you can have drinks out on this really cool, it's like an old castle, pretty much a castle in the mountains, if you will. It's also where F. Scott Fitzgerald stayed for a long time because Cuckoo Bells, his wife, was in the nut house down the street. Zelda. Yeah, sadly, that's where she died in a fire. Oh, no. Sad times. I know. We were trying to end on a happy note, and I ruined it.
The termites want to know about your fantasy.
My fantasy team, I'm very disturbed by this news that Giselle is in New York. I don't like it. Tommy still won, but he didn't get me that many points. And then Mike Evans, the number one receiver, got in a fight. Now he's suspended. I'm not losing my faith in Tommy. Tommy Salami does no wrong. I was also thinking about doing a podcast just for you sports people who would like to learn how to do a fantasy league. Does anybody want that? I'll make it like a 20-minute thing. I'll have, I'll show everybody how to do it. And you can do it now. You don't have to start at the beginning of the year. But it's only for people who want to start a super beginner league. Because I'm well aware, because of my brother and brother-in-law and all that, there are super duper complicated ones. This is not. No. This is dumb proof. But I'll show you guys how to do it if you want. Because some people seemed interested. If not enough people care, that's fine too. I won't do it. I'll explain the flex position. I mean, come on. If my 9-year-old nephews can understand, anybody can. The amount of joy I took in beating a 12-year-old was just...
Did you beat him?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, Baby Shoe Madigan destroyed Powerhouse. I forget what he's called. Otherwise,
Florence and the Machine.
Everybody's fine. I'll be going to see Florence and the Machine tomorrow night. I'm very excited.
Nice.
Outside, so she can be her normal witch self. I saw her in St. Louis one time at the Opera House, which is the same place I work. And the crowd wasn't really getting into it. And in my mind, I thought, she doesn't know that we are Midwest people and we're in the Opera House and we think we can't stand up. We think we'll get kicked out. Oh, yeah. It's a manners thing. We're like, you can't stand up in here. It's the Opera House. Look around, fuckface. This is fancy. And so finally she's like, it's okay if you'd like to get up. And then we're all like, she said we could. Don't blame me. The performer said it was absolutely fine for me to stand up and go crazy. But yes, the fantasy, it's going well. And the pick'em pool, I'm in the 13th place. But there's like 39 people.
That's great.
I'll take it. It's not horrible.
Bad.
You're suffering.
I know.
Derrick Henry's not doing it for you.
I know. Josh Allen is, though.
Josh Allen is. Nobody on the Bills disappoints. Nobody.
No, I love him.
There's a lot of disappointments on some other teams. I don't need to go into my hate list. I won't do that. Because everybody's trying really hard. But you know what? I did pick the Arizona to beat the Raiders.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Not many people did. All right, that's enough tough because a lot of people don't even care about the football. But if you guys want to learn how, I'll get a chart out here and then I'll do the app on the phone. You can follow along.
Great.
I'll make a whole thing. And it would not be part of the podcast in case you people are worried, like, fuck, I don't want to hear that shit for 25 minutes. It would be separate. Totally separate. All right, termites. You are now officially fall termites. Yeah. So get out there. Enjoy fall. Enjoy September. Oh, my birthday month. What?
What are you doing for your birthday?
For my birthday? Mm-hmm. Golf. I'm going to go to a Cardinal game.
Great.
I want to see Yachty.
Yeah.
The Cardinals right here. Yeah, 8 games in first place.
Boom.
That's right.
Maybe Bucky will be there.
And go fishing.
Fun.
If who will be there?
So maybe Yachty will be there.
Yachty might be playing. I think it's Adam Wainwright bobblehead night, though. So he'll be pitching. Or I might have it confused. It might be Yachty's bobblehead. It's bobblehead in the weekend. I don't know. I don't really care about the bobblehead.
You got one right there. You like.
Well, I care about Fredbird. That's not a bobblehead. That's a beer drinking Stein. I have a Bucky's bobblehead. Yeah, but Bucky is more real to me than actual Cardinals.
Oh my God.
I've met him. I've met him.
Night-night.
All right, that's it. Night-night, termites.